Welcome in. We're back with another summer interview series. If you think this is a different voice, the substitute teacher is back. Sam is giving me the reins, give me the reins to run this one. As you read the description, we got Samford's point guard Rylan Jones coming back for his sixth year of eligibility. Rylan, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Hope you guys are doing well.
How does it sound to you when you say 6 years?
Sounds like I've been in college a long time.
Does that come with 2 degrees?
I mean, I already have 2, so maybe a third.
Educated man here, folks.
I don't know. I got to, get their Samford's money's worth this year from some education.
True Samford man, you got to come in for 2 years and leave with 3 degrees.
Exactly.
So, what is your second major?
I did. So I graduated in marketing from Utah State, and then I did the sports business MBA last year at Samford. So I just did like an MBA with, they have that sports analytics program.
That's cool.
So I got like 4 extra classes that gave me like a sports analytics concentration. So it was pretty cool. That was hard, but it was definitely worth it, and learned a lot and met a lot of cool people in the, sports world.
Shout out to Dr. White, Darren White with that one. Yeah, he's got it going on. So, yeah, we're just going to get in a little bit of your background. We'll get to your younger stuff in a second, but just talk through how the summer's been going for you, what you've been working on, how summer practice has been going.
Yeah, no, it's been good. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing for a long time, just with what I was dealing with the NCAA and the waiver we were applying for. But I took a good time off. The body was tired. And like my first, it was like a first real good break where I wasn't quite sure what the next step was. But I was, looking at plans to go overseas or try the G League. And then when Bucky called me and, he said we got the waiver, it was right back to work and just getting ready to come back here to run it back with Samford. And I've been here for about 2.5 weeks now, 2.5 weeks. And just summer practices, working camp, getting to know the new guys, and just kind of, putting everything together so that, we can have a good season again.
Yeah, I was going to get into this later, but we can get into it now since you brought it up. When did you know that this extra year could have been a possibility? And then when we got the call from Bucky, so what was that process like, waiting for this whole thing to play out?
Yeah, so we've been working on this kind of since, I'd say, right before conference play started last year. It kind of got brought up as like a possibility, and we really didn't know how much of a chance there would be. But once Bucky and I talked, we decided, why not try and go full after it. And Bucky, when when he wants to get something done, we did everything we could to get it done, and we had a good case for my type of waiver that we were going for, and it was a long process. I mean, I didn't hear till about, I would say, May 12th or 13th, maybe.
Okay.
So about halfway through May, and then, we waited for it to post, like a graphic that said I was coming back or whatever. And, that was about middle of May, end of May, maybe even, I don't even know, maybe even June. And so that was kind of the process. We were just kind of in a waiting situation, just kind of talking every couple of days about discussing with, Martin, who was working on it, our AD and our compliance officer, and just kind of going back and forth and making sure we got the NCAA all the information that there was. And Bucky just called me one day, and, he actually said, it didn't happen. And then he changed it, and he said he was just kidding. We got it.
That sounds a lot like him.
Yeah, it was a good phone call.
Awesome.
I was really happy, and, I was just, ecstatic that I get to, a chance to play basketball again in college, and then especially for Samford and Coach Bucky, who I've just learned to love Coach Bucky and love Samford, the university, and everybody that's here. It's a great place.
Yeah, that's definitely a long time to wait. But oh gosh, am I gonna get this? Of course, you're going through the year trying to focus on what you got going on in front of you, but then waiting to see if you got the extra year coming on. It's gotta be a long process to wait out for.
Yeah, when we talked about it, my dad and I, we were like, should we try to do it? And we both said yes with Bucky. And then I didn't even think about, I didn't want anybody to talk about it. I didn't want anybody to know. I was just like, this is my last go. I'm putting everything in this, conference season as it's my last time. And So then once we lost to Kansas, and we had an unbelievable year, it was waiting for. Then I started asking some questions and trying to figure out if it was a real possibility. After some guys did some work, like our compliance officer who was already working on it.
Sweet, yeah. Well, we're obviously pumped to have you back. I remember sending your Instagram post to the guys in the group. I think it was Jeb. Was that really? He's coming back? Are we serious? I was like, I told you he's coming back. I thought he was for sure. And then you posted that out. He's like, oh yeah, we're good to go. So
yeah, that's funny.
So Rylan, it's also coming back. Let's get into where you grew up. Let's get the audience going. I know a lot of people know your story, but let's get into it. Where you grew up, high school, elementary school, where you want to be when you grow up, stuff like that. So just start there, then we can work our way up.
Yeah. So I was born in Salt Lake City. I lived in Utah my whole life until I chose to come here last summer. So I was born in Salt Lake when my dad was coaching at the University of Utah. And then when I was in second grade, he took a job at Utah State as assistant coach. So we moved from second grade until the start of my sophomore year of high school. We were in Logan, Utah, which is at Utah State. And then he chose to go back and take another assistant job at University of Utah. So we moved back to Salt Lake, basically moved like a mile from like where I was born.
Dang.
And then I went to Olympus High School, just right. It was 15 minutes from the Delta Center, right in the heart of Salt Lake City.
Oh, yeah.
So I finished my 3 years at Olympus. I played 1 year at Logan High, and at Olympus, I lost in the state championship my sophomore year. We went 27-0 my junior year and won the state championship. And then my senior year, we lost in the state semifinals, I believe. Yeah, semifinals. So that kind of summed up my high school career where I was. So I've kind of only lived in Utah until I came out here. I really grew up in Logan, which is where Utah State is, which is basically the main reason I chose to go to Utah State after Utah, is just because that was home. Like I grew up in that gym. All my so many friends, it was just home. So it was a very easy and simple decision. So that's kind of why I ended up at Utah State. But I consider Logan my home. And then other than that, I live in Salt Lake City, and now just going on year 2 in Birmingham.
Yeah, I remember we talked to you after one game. I forgot to ask you, but did you ever think you'd be living in Birmingham? You're like, no, dude, I had no idea. Never thought I'd be living in Alabama or living in Utah my whole life.
Yeah, no. You would ask me that. I said, no chance. But I really enjoyed it. I
don't think any of us thought that. Let's be honest.
That's fair, Jeb. That's fair. I don't think any of us, though, grew up in such a small, localized area like that. Like, that's wild, bro. Wild.
Yeah. I mean,
how far is Logan from Salt Lake?
It's like an hour and 20 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic. Yeah, and it was really crazy because especially, in coaching, usually coaches go from, one school to the next school to the next school. You're going all over the place. And my dad coached in the state of Utah he still is coaching, but in college for 22 or 3 years in the same state.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
I always tell other coaches or other coaches' kids, I lived in Utah my whole life. Your dad's been a coach your whole life? Yeah. 2 schools, 23 years, in the same state.
That's awesome. Is he from Utah originally?
Yeah. Both my parents are from Utah. Both grew up in Utah. So yeah, we kind of with Utah through and through.
Coaches' kids are always good.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was he extra hard on you growing up, or did he kind of let you do your thing? And
no, he was. A lot of people ask that question. He was the best coach I've had. He was very. Once I told him I wanted to be good at basketball, and I was in the gym my whole life, but once he told me to be good at basketball, or once I told him I want to be good at basketball, he held me to it. He was always in the gym with me. Even when he was working crazy hours as a college coach, he would always take time to go rebound for me and work me out. He coached my team in Utah in Logan. We were called the Aggies, and we won, I think through a span of 7 years, we won 6 AAU state championships. We lost 4 games for those 7 years, and he was our coach. Wow. And he coached us hard. He was very loud, very demanding, but he's also like my best friend, and so that's kind of why our relationship worked that way. Is we could go home and there was no basketball talk. We could talk about normal stuff, but once it was basketball, I listened to him, and I listen to him all the time. Even, he calls me after every game and tells me, what I could have done better, what I thought I did great. How he, who he thought did this, gives me his rundown, and I listen to him. I've listened to him my whole life, and I keep planning on doing it. But that's why we had such a great relationship, and a lot of my basketball success has come from him, making sure and keeping me in the gym when I told him I want to be good, even though on those days that I didn't really want to work out.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes, just one person to be like, oh, we're to push you. Once you say you're all in, they're like, cool, it's awesome that your dad, even with his college coaching, was like, no, we're going to work on this. We're going to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah, and like one of the biggest things that I think really helped me is like we would watch games at home all the time, and like he would never talk to me about like who was scoring. He was like always talk to me about why that person got the shot, or the one more pass, or like watching Tony Parker or watching Steve Nash. Like we watched all those guys, and I was never watching, like obviously shooting and scoring. We all know that's part of the game, but we never ever focused on that. And I still think that's accustomed to how I play. Is like I usually think score second, and I try to find my teammates, and if I'm open, I'm gonna shoot it, obviously. But he always taught me to make the right play every time I played basketball. It didn't matter if one time I scored 2 points, as long as your team won, you won. Like that's a success. And so that was probably one of the biggest takeaways from him that I learned, is that like just making the right play every time is going to be better for the team, and you're all get awards and accolades at the end of it when you guys won championships.
What's weird, Rylan?
Go ahead, Tim.
What's weird is when we watch y'all play and we look at the stat line, we're like, when did Rylan get those 15 points? When did he shoot the ball? It's so sneaky. So it's almost like we're watching what you're trying to do. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you relate more to Tony Parker or Steve Nash?
I'd probably say a little bit more Steve Nash.
Okay.
That's
Why?
Tony Parker. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I just feel like my game reminds myself more of Steve Nash.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, don't want to interrogate you. I'm just
nobody's ever asked me that before. That's a great question.
Tell us
I do
about
have a Tony
Utah.
Parker jersey in my closet, so.
Tell us about Utah. What was like the predominant sport? Was basketball like the sport in high school, or I mean, Utah's got good football too. So,
I would say predominantly basketball is the main sport, but we do have a couple high schools that have become powerhouses for football. With we have a ton of Polynesian culture in Utah, so we have a couple high schools that have become very, very dominant in high school football, and usually, so I'd say it's pretty. Those two are far and away, but I'd probably say Utah basketball is a little bit more predominantly than some football.
Is Utah your favorite state?
Yeah. Alabama is growing on me, though.
There we go.
You don't have to say that, but Utah's awesome.
Yeah, Utah's a good place. Very beautiful.
Do you ski or snowboard or anything out there?
Yeah, I skied my whole life until my sophomore year of high school, when our basketball coach, he wouldn't let us ski during the season. So I probably haven't skied, and I don't think I've skied since I've been in college, but I used to ski at the end of every year in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so much fun. I definitely miss skiing.
Yeah, it's like got to be in your blood if you grow up in the Salt Lake. Like
I grew up skiing every Sunday. It was like my mom's side of the family loves to ski, so we went every Sunday growing up.
That's awesome.
You can make an argument. It helps you with footwork, agility, something like that, right?
Leg strength, cardio, conditioning. I mean, it helps with everything.
Get back to do some team bonding out there one year. Great.
Man, it would be fun.
I don't know if Riley Onslaught could get on skis, but
I would have paid money to see a chore on skis.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Definitely no skiing in Kansas.
No. Or Australia.
No.
Orlando, wherever we went. Coming out of high school, is there any thoughts and not going to Utah or Utah State? Were those kind of like the two schools? Like any chance you want to look elsewhere before you decided Utah?
I looked elsewhere like my sophomore and into that my sophomore year summer, and I was getting recruited by a lot of schools, but I mean it was pretty. I mean I want to play for my dad in college, and obviously Utah was a great basketball program with a great history in the Pac-12, and it was everything the forgotten Pac-12, I guess, but it was everything.
Okay, rest in peace. Yeah,
it was everything I wanted. And I knew the coaches very well. I knew I was going to have a chance to play right away. So, I mean, it was a no-brainer decision for me. And I really loved my first 2 years there. It was great.
Did you ever think you'd be interviewed by Bill Walton after a game either?
No, but I did a couple times, and Bill was a good friend of mine. Really sucks to see he passed, but Bill was amazing. Every time he did a game, he'd come up, "Hi, my name is Bill," even though he's already introduced himself every time. And then I'd say, "Hi, I'm Rylan," and then we'd kind of laugh about it because we both knew who each other were. But no, he was great. He was so good for the sport. He was so funny.
I remember you tweeted out the video of like the interaction you and he had after one of your games. He asked you. I found the clip on YouTube. I was watching it. He asked you a couple of questions. He did. I'm not going to do the impression, but he did ask, how do you compete against these giants and these ultimate winners of the genetic lottery? I thought that was incredible.
No, he was one of a kind. His lines, sayings, I mean, he's one of a kind. Only he come up with that statement.
My favorite part of the clip is the play-by-play guy trying to get in a question. He's like, "Dude, you're not getting in a question with Bill. He's going to take the ultimate." Like, you could see his mouth trying to move, like trying to get a question. He's like, "Dude, you're not getting a question in with Bill right there."
Nope. Doesn't happen.
So you started all those games at Utah. What went into going over to Utah State?
Yeah, just our coach got fired after our whole coaching staff got fired after that COVID year. We had a good freshman year. My freshman year, we were a pretty good team. We were right on the borderline NIT NCAA tournament, and then COVID happened. And then the next year, we struggled for some reason, and we were really talented, but we just kind of struggled. And the athletic department went a different way. And once that happened, it was really hard for me to go back there, just like where my dad got fired, a second family kind of got fired, if that makes sense. Like, I'd known Coach Kristoviak since he offered me when I was in 7th grade. Like, he believed in me since then, and, like, I looked at him as, like, an uncle almost. And, when that happened, it was really hard for me, and then it was a no-brainer to go to Utah State. I dreamt of playing there as a kid. And so when that opportunity arose and Coach Odom was a new coach there, and I got to know him pretty quick, and he's a great guy and a great coach, and it was just an easy decision. And went up there for 2 years and had an unbelievable 2 years that were great, and I cherish a lot of memories. Didn't end the way I wanted it to end my senior year, but it was a great place. I met my girlfriend there. We won a lot of big games. We went to the tournament. Played in the Spectrum, which is the best home court advantage in the country. The best place to play, hands down. And I got to experience basically two places I dreamt of playing growing up. I got to experience both of them. So I really am very, happy that I got to do that, and blessed and very thankful that it happened.
Yeah, I think your first year with Coach Redholm, he came from UMBC after they beat Virginia, I want to say. Yeah, that's where he went over. And then he went to VCU, and then your second game of your Samford career, you go up to VCU, play that game too.
And then we sold. We had him beat.
That's such a good game.
Yes, we did, Rylan. Let's roll it back. You said you were offered in 7th grade.
Yeah, Coach Kristoviak, it is a memory that I'll never forget.
How tall were you?
I was like 5'9", maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Like,
so you had grown. I was imagining, a young Rylan of
like
5.
I was always towards the taller when I was growing up. Like, but yeah, he offered me when we were sitting in Bishop Gorman back gym. I was sitting with my dad. They were all recruiting, and my dad was at Utah State at the time, and he was at Utah. And like, we were sitting next to like Bill Self, Roy Williams. Like, we were watching this game, and he like made me stand up.
It's casual.
Yeah, he made me stand up, and he said, "Rylan Jones, like, took his hand up. I offer you a scholarship, like, University of Utah." And like, I just kind of looked at him, and I was like,
cool.
Thank you. And then I like kind of just sat down, and then I asked my dad, I'm like, was he joking, or like, what was going on? He's like, no, he meant it. Like, and so I was like, oh, wow. I mean, that's cool.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's like, I remember
7th grade.
everything about it. Like, who was sitting there, where we were sitting, who was playing. We were watching Utah prospects play, who had like Sam Merrill at the time, who was on the Cavs.
Yeah.
Like, we were watching that game and they were playing and he did it at halftime. And I was just like, okay, thank you. Like, I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know what that meant really at the time.
Man,
Sam,
you could have gotten in a bidding war. Roy Williams could have offered you right there. It's like, could have happened.
Crazy.
Yeah, I've always wondered how that goes down. How like some coaches do differently, whether they would text you or you're like football, you're at a camp, whatever. Like how they actually go about offering you in person. So that's pretty cool that you do that. In that crowd, in that setting, obviously.
Yeah, it was cool. Definitely a highlight of my life.
Yeah, even with your dad, Utah State coach, right there.
Yeah,
it's like nice enough.
And then it was really funny.
I know, son, you're coming to Utah.
I didn't even think about that part, Greg.
Yeah.
Yes, you got the Utah State coach. I mean, that's a rivalry, right? To a degree, it's got to be.
Yeah, well, and the best part is the head coach of Utah State at the time was Stu Morrill, legendary coach. You know, one of the most winningest, best winning percentage. And he was an older guy, and he coached Coach Kristoviak in college. And then when I got back to Logan a couple weeks later, and somehow it got like, we didn't announce it or anything. Like, my dad didn't really want that, and it kind of got leaked to like media. And then Coach Stu, he texted my dad, hey, bring Rylan to practice today. And I was like, it was in the practice facility, and he looked at me and said, hey, that's super cool, Coach. He's super cool. Larry offered you. Don't worry, I'll offer you when the time is right. So it was just kind of funny.
That is funny,
especially because Coach Morrill coached Larry, so like they knew each other. My dad, obviously good friends with Larry, but he was at Utah State, so it was just like a funny, couple events that happened.
The coaching world is small, but the Utah coaching world seems very small.
Very small. Especially about 10, 15 years ago, it was really, really, really small. It's grown a little bit now, but
it's a good program.
Do you have a favorite
great program? Didn't Utah State crush it this year?
Yeah, they were picked 10th.
Utah are always pretty good.
Yeah, they were picked 10th and won the Mountain West and won a game in the tournament after losing. Crazy, Utah State lost. Every single point that was scored my senior year, Utah State was gone, and the next team they won it. Unbelievable job Coach Sprinkle did. Now he's at Washington, so
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, first year for him too. Second year for him probably. Yeah, doing that after Odom went to BC. Like
his first year. Cool. This year was his first year.
The first year, okay. Yeah,
crazy.
Wow.
Do you have a favorite moment or memory that you can kind of stick out, maybe from your Utah or Utah State days?
Yeah, my freshman year versus BYU at the Huntsman Center, we had not beat BYU in about 4 or 5 years, and we were down like 12. My favorite memory is like the whole game, but we were down like 12 or 14 in the first half, just getting killed, and we made a huge comeback, and we had the ball down 1 with under a minute left. And, like, I drove in there and did, like, what they call, like, a Nash dribble and, like, pump faked. My guy flew by me, and I missed a wide-open layup to take the lead. And then I fouled the guy. So it just was like a double bogey. It was really bad.
Yeah.
And then really even worse. So then he goes to the line, makes 2 free throws. We're down 3. And we call timeout. We, like, kind of run a play for Timmy Allen, who was our best player. And he makes a great pass, and our other guard, he throws it to me at the top of the key, and I make a 3 to send it to overtime. And then in overtime, I scored like 8 straight, and we ended up winning by like 6 or 8. So that was definitely my favorite moment.
That's incredible.
At Utah, or Utah State, for sure. I mean, beating BYU, who's like, hated my whole life, grew up wanting to play in that game, and then to be able to have like the lowest of lows, and then make a 3 at the buzzer to tie it, and then kind of, I had 25 points, like 7 assists, like I think it's still my career high.
Here's a screenshot. Yeah, screenshot I found on YouTube.
Right there. It. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Dang.
And that BYU team was like really good. They were like top 25 most of the year. Like, yeah, that was by far my favorite. college moment in Utah State.
Was it Kentucky?
Yeah, that you kind of went off on freshman year.
Yeah, we beat Kentucky like 2 weeks later in Vegas when we had we didn't really have any business beating them either.
Sorry, what?
Yeah,
Your
Yeah,
freshman
didn't
year?
yeah, we beat
Didn't you pop off
Kentucky.
with
Like 20 points or
I
something,
think
like
I had
30 points.
I had like 16 points and like 4 or 5 assists. But yeah, we led for 40 minutes to beat Kentucky with Tyrese Maxey, Ashton Hagans, Emmanuel Quickly, and we played 4 freshmen and a sophomore. And
That's crazy.
That's chunk out
Yeah.
there.
For you.
Yeah, so we got
Recording the night before the NBA draft. Do you keep up with that much? NBA,
I do.
like
I mean, I like the Jazz, so it was hard to keep up this year. But I mean, I do follow somewhat, not like a diehard, and
Where do they play?
the Jazz. Same
I'm
place.
just
Same
kidding.
place. Same place we had Kansas on the ropes for a little bit.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the draft was tomorrow night. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so anybody
in the draft this week that you have played against? Like, I'm trying to think of. I mean, obviously Kansas has got a couple guys that.
Yeah.
McCullough was out.
I'm sure that
Trophies in it. Yeah.
a lot of the really good guys I played against have been in the league for 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah.
Like Pritchard, he was the hardest player I've ever had to guard. Like Evan Mobley and Isaiah Mobley, I've had to play them.
Yep.
Obviously, he's really good. Sam Merrill is a close friend of mine who plays on the Cavs. My dad recruited him to Utah State, so I know him really well. Nemias Keita, he plays on the Celtics, played at Utah State.
Dang.
So yeah, I know a fair share of guys, and have played against quite a bit of guys that are playing in the NBA and played. I think when I went to Game 5 of the Boston Celtics Cavs Cavs series, and I think at one point there was like 5 guys on the court that I either played with or against, which was pretty cool.
That is
Yeah.
cool. That is cool.
What's the hardest road
Environment you played in that year?
That year, probably Arizona. They had like
pretty
Nico
sweet.
Mannion and Josh Green and Zeke Naji. They had like 3 first-round draft picks. Yeah, they were really good. That was 15,000, and they're just standing the whole time right on you.
No. No. Pass. Tell us how you got to Samford.
You say what?
Tell us how you got to Samford. Or Jeb, were you going to say something?
I said, can we get those numbers in the Pete?
That would be
15,000, dude. That would be. But how did you meet Bucky? How did you get to Samford? Like, if you haven't left Utah, I mean.
Yeah, no, it was very. I mean, it was crazy. Like, I remember one of my coaches from Utah State. He knew an assistant out here, Danny Young, and he texted me. He said, "Hey, one of my buddies from Samford is gonna text you or call you or whatever." And I'm like, okay. And I took the call, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm coach at Samford. Like, do you know where Samford is?" I'm like, "No. You ever heard of Samford?" No. He's like, "Well, it's in Birmingham, Alabama." Blah blah blah.
Where?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I know Birmingham. I'm like, is it near University of Alabama? He's like, yeah, like 40 minutes. Like, okay, cool. And then we kind of he said, "Oh, I'm gonna give you your number to the head coach. He's gonna call you." And I was like, okay. Bucky called me. I think I've said this before. Like, he talked for like 5 or 6 minutes, and I really couldn't understand him. He talked so fast, and like I was just like, yeah, okay, sounds good. Wasn't very interested. I was just kind of like, I'm not gonna go to Alabama. Like, where's Samford? Who is Samford? And so I had a Zoom call with them like a couple of days later. Honestly, when I took it, I was just kind of like filling up the time. I was like, okay, why not listen to him? And I listened to him, and I really enjoyed Bucky, the way he talked. And he was he had like film of me playing, film of them playing, where I would fit in, how I would fit in, what he saw for me. And I was like, okay, like this guy's like, he's done his work. Like, it's like, okay, so like that was cool, because a lot of coaches in the portal just call and see if you're interested, and then they talk to you, but they really don't know your game. They just see you in the portal and know that, okay, he averaged 6 points and 4 assists, like he might be good, you know. Especially when it's the head coach coming like that, I was like, okay, like he, you know, like I like this, like this is cool. And so then I talked to him for a while, but I still was just kind of like, I mean, I wasn't coming out here. Like I'm not going to Alabama. I'm not going to go play SoCon. Like, didn't really know anything about the SoCon. Didn't really know anything about. I mean, I didn't really know anything about Samford. And I went through the process, and Coach Young, credit to him, he just kept calling me. And I would answer the call late at night sometimes, and I talked to him, and we built a great relationship through the month or so that he was recruiting me. And I'd occasionally talk to Bucky, and he was very good. He wasn't like overbearing. We talked for 10 minutes, and then I'd hang up, and we wouldn't talk for a week, or we just kind of going. And I took some visits, and like I visited Grand Canyon, visited Montana, was talking to Gonzaga, Notre Dame, Virginia, a bunch of other schools, just kind of talking to them. And I took some visits, and I didn't really find anything that nothing honestly, no head coach hit me the same that Bucky hit me. And I kind of had wanted to, my dad, credit to my dad, he's the one like, hey, just keep calling him back. Like, just keep thinking about Samford. I know it's maybe not what you're looking for, but I like their coaches. They seem awesome. My dad's like, I really like Bucky. He's talked to me a couple of times. He seems awesome. So I was like, okay. So my dad kind of there was multiple times where I was like, man, why am I still talking to him? Like, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to move across the country. I want to go stay somewhere, close to home, my family, my girlfriend, everybody's, on the West Coast. But he's like, man, just keep talking to him. Like, he's like, I've been through this before. Like, they're good guys, and they seem to really like you and, love the way you play and love you for who you are and all this stuff. And finally, I was in California with my girlfriend, and my dad finally convinced me to go on the visit. And I was like, so we called him. So I flew from California to Utah, visited Utah Valley, and I took the red eye out to Birmingham that night with my mom and dad. We got in here in the morning. Bucky picked us up. We went and ate at, where'd we eat? We went and ate at Big Bad Breakfast.
Sweet. Okay. There we go, Bucky. Good job. Yeah.
Then we drove around campus. I met with Dr. White on a Zoom. Showed me the campus. It was beautiful. Wasn't expecting it at all. I didn't think Alabama was really green and pretty, but Samford's obviously beautiful. I was like, okay, this is really cool.
It's fancy grass.
And then
Hey.
and me and Bucky clicked like right away. Like the second we got in the car, I mean, we were just talking, and it was, we were talking basketball strategy, the whole deal. Just like we just clicked right away. And then we went to dinner at Char Bar, and I went to dinner with Achor and Jermaine, and they were the only two in town. And honestly, I became really good friends with Jermaine that night. You guys know his personality, and he's just fun, and
he's amazing.
He's just an unbelievable guy. And Achor was the same. Achor was, very, he didn't really know much about like who I was, and then I guess like somebody showed him some film and saw me throwing a couple lobs and passes. He's like, okay, I like this guy. Yeah, he's pretty good.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, and so then we went to Topgolf that night. I woke up the next morning. We watched film, went to Saws, and then I left.
Dude, that's quite a. I need to take a visit to. They can put us up on a visit.
Hit all the food spots you need to hit. It's like, man,
Dang.
I think we went to Johnny's. We went to Johnny's for lunch one day too. I think we went to Big Bad. We went to Big Bad, Johnny's, and Char Bar all in like 10 hours.
And Topgolf, just to top it
and
off.
Topgolf. Then the next morning we went to Saws, or the next afternoon, and then I left. So like we were here for 30 hours.
That's a whirlwind. I mean, you flew in the morning. So you're dog tired.
Red eye. I'm dog tired. I take a nap.
Off of a visit. Yeah, off of another visit.
Off of another visit. Yeah. I take a nap in the hotel, and when I wake up from the nap in the hotel, I'm supposed to FaceTime Micah Shrewsbury at Notre Dame. So like I'm talking to him while I'm on the visit, and I'm like talking to Notre Dame while I'm on a visit with Samford. I'm like, man,
that's pretty sick.
And then talk to him, and then I go to dinner, and then so we left the next day, and I went to California. My parents went home, and I still was just like, I really loved it here, but I still just wasn't like sold on moving this far away.
Sure.
And then
of course,
about a week later, I get a text from Bucky at like 1 a.m. He says, hey, just have some thoughts. Call me when you can. It's like, okay. So the next morning, I like wake up and call him, and I think I've said the story before. He basically told me exactly what happened this year. He had like, I don't know, something, and he told me, hey, it'd be so cool to go to a place and a really good place, and potentially be the piece that helps them go over the top and be somewhere that's never been done for 25 years, win a championship, and do that at a school that's not known for basketball. I think you'd be the perfect guy to help us, kind of the piece that was missing almost. And that really hit me. And then a couple of days later, after talking with my parents, my girlfriend, just other people that were involved, I called Bucky, and he was at Dolphin Island, and I said, hey, I'm going to commit. And the next thing you know, I'm May 29th, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama with my mom, dropped me off all the way across the country. I got clothes. That's it. I got nothing else. And here we are now coming back for another year.
That's wild. Yeah.
It was a crazy month and a half and I think I made the best decision for me, and I loved every single second of being here. And it'll be a like a part of a home for me for the rest of the staff and the team from last year. Like, I couldn't have asked for anything better, or it was exactly what I was looking for. And credit to Coach Bucky and the coaches and the players for making it that way for me.
We like your decision, by the
way. Yeah, and we agree wholeheartedly.
It's a little eerie how on the nose Bucky was.
Yeah.
But you don't even. Yeah, that it's crazy.
Weird.
Very, very crazy.
And to save that, it's just like closing pitch at the end. We're not gonna lead off with that. We're gonna save it to the end. They really hit it home for you.
Yep.
You're trying to decide to make your next biggest decision of your life, and you've already gone to another school. But
yeah, it was crazy.
Had you ever, in your recruiting process, had a coach pull up film of you and of his current team and like kind of?
I mean, like kind of, almost like, but not the way he did it. He did it in a very like specific way of like, all right, it was a couple of plays I made at Utah State or Utah, and then it was film of Samford the previous year of guys kind of making the same play in their offense, and it was just so like a couple of them were transition, and a couple were pick and roll, and a couple of them were cuts, guys cutting, and he showed like the guys I'd be playing with and how I could get them shots. Like there was like a clip where like somebody drove in there and a guy cut, and the guy didn't pass it to him, and the guy shot a bad shot. And the next clip was me like driving in there, pump faking. The guy cut, and I passed it to him, and he dunked it. So like it was very thorough, and I could tell right away that he wanted me, he liked me, he knew the type of player I was. So that was honestly one of the things that put it over the top for me.
Yeah, and going back to your dad too, like that's obviously a great resource to have. He knows that, like he told you, keep calling the coaches back. I like them. Yeah. I know what they're going to. He's the one who can cut through all the BS or whatever. Say they're actually really genuine. They really care for you. They really want you to come play for them. So
we both really enjoyed talking to Coach Young, and both have built a great relationship with him. And they did a great job with my mom on when she was here. I mean, he knew that he would have to convince my mom to let me, feel comfortable coming out all this way. And yeah, I mean, it felt very, the way I would describe it is it felt very similar to the staff that my dad was on, that we were super close to. Very close-knit, tight guys that, we're all friends, did stuff not just during basketball, like off the court. And I could just tell that, like, just seeing their interactions with each other. And so it felt like a home right away because I'd already been in an environment similar to that.
Yeah, sweet.
He's mentioned in some interviews, I'm talking about you, Rylan, that he told you it'd be the most fun you'd ever had playing basketball.
Yep.
Right? Like take you back to your high school days. Like looking back at it now, what do you think he meant by that? And like just talk to us about how much fun. Yeah.
Yeah, like every day. It's like my high school coach is a high school legend. He's won 4 state championships in the last 10 years. Like a phenomenal coach, fun culture, play fast, shoot a lot of threes. Very similar to Bucky. We didn't press like we do now, but we played very similar on offense. But like I had my best friends were on that team. We went 27-0, like beat everybody by over 20, just dominated, had a great time. Like every day you came to practice, it wasn't, I got basketball practice today. It was, hey, I'm just going to have fun, play basketball with my best friends. And that's very similar to the environment here is, Everything is super competitive. Everything is fun. Bucky never has bad days. He's always the same Bucky. Some days he's a little more yelly if we don't trap or run through on the press. But, he's he's the same person every day. He's got no ups and downs. The coaches are the same. There's energy every day. It's just like going to play pickup at practice. Like, yeah, some days we do more defense and it sucks, but it's still fun because he makes it fun and he's built a culture that makes it fun with guys who want to play and want to be here and want to win together. And so it was by far the most fun, and obviously winning makes it fun, and he said we were going to win. So winning cures a lot, and we won a lot of games.
How hard did that first Bucky practice it, like the day after? Like, okay, we're ready to keep doing this.
Yeah, it was crazy last summer when, like, week 3, we're, like, full-on pressing, doing all this stuff I'd never pressed before. And, like, I was not in the best shape because I hadn't played in 5 months. I was hating life. I was like, man, this sucks. Like, am I really going to be able to do this? And then, after a couple of weeks, I really learned to enjoy it and understand that the type of way we play is really fun, and it'll help us win a lot of games because people just aren't built for it.
Isn't there something involved with? I remember you, Achor, and Jermaine talking about after you won the title, talking about those push-ups, like 5 push-ups. Can you go through that and what that entails?
Yeah, I mean, every day we have red and white teams, and we compete every day with every drill we do. Like, we usually do a shooting drill to start. Whoever wins that gets a point. Then there's usually multiple drills. Maybe there's some 4-on-4, 3-on-3, half court 5-on-5, full court 5-on-5. Keep score every time. Every point matters. Fouls, charges. And then at the end of the day, whoever has the most tallies at like the end has to do usually a sprint. And after every drill, you have to shoot a free throw. And if you make the free throw, your team win. And if you lose, you have to do the 10 push-ups right then. So there would be days if you lost like 5, it was like 5-0. You have to do 50 push-ups and then run a 55 at the end because we beat them 5-0. And every drill with a Jermaine and a Chore, I mean, it was life. I mean, they didn't know anything different. Jermaine didn't know anything different. Like, I'm just like, we're playing the SoCon championship every time we do a drill. And that just set the culture for everybody else. And you didn't want to lose. And we kept track of every win and every tally throughout every win and loss throughout the whole year. There's a whiteboard. And I'm happy to say that last year I was the winningest player.
Okay.
So I did the least amount of push-ups. But, I mean, it's something like I look up there every day. I'm like, man, I didn't do good last week. Like, I got to win. Like, and I like to win.
I like that.
I like to win just as much as Jermaine and the Chore, but not the vocal way that they like to do it. But, and so, I mean, that makes it competitive and fun every day when you're like, okay, like, I won 15 games and lost 4 last week. Like, yeah, I had a good week. Or, you look up there and it's like, dang, you got like 8 wins and 14 losses. Like, dang, I got my ass kicked. And so next week you want to come back and get better.
Obviously, like, you're coming back now. What do we think? What do we think about the team this year?
We're very talented. We've got some really good players coming in. The 3 freshmen that were here last year, Josh, Lucas, and Riley, have all improved a bunch. They're going to make all 3 of them are going to make a big jump. And then obviously we've brought in some guys that have, proven to be able to score and play at levels that are very, very talented. And everybody's gelling together, fitting in right, like they were here last year. Everybody's competitive. It's the same type of energy and competing in practice that we had last year. Even though Jermaine's not there, we kind of have a new Jermaine and Julian from Wagner. He loves to compete, loves to win. You don't want to lose at all. So he kind of brings like the same spot, the same energy. He's always talking, always chirping, always wants to win. So yeah, and everybody's gelling together, just kind of trying to learn. We have to teach the press a little bit more this year because it's not as many returners. So we're having to kind of just discuss and watch them film. But everybody's playing hard, competing, and we're just getting better as a group. So it's been a good summer so far.
And now you're not the only Utah guy on the team. You got one more Utah guy with you.
I got another Utah with me and Big Jaden. And we didn't even really know each other. We played against each other like one time in high school. He was 2 years younger than me. We beat him.
There you go.
But other than that, I didn't really know him until I was trying to help recruit him when Bucky told me that he was in the portal and we were going to try to get him. did some, I texted him and, probably really helped. There was another Utah guy out here. So it was good. He's a great player. He can really shoot. He's tall, really pass. One of the best shooters I've seen. So he's going to be a good piece to the puzzle.
One more thing, going back to this past year, obviously we talked about winning the title, but was there ever a sense where like something like clicked for you guys as a team where you thought that, okay, maybe this is what we can accomplish, what Bucky told us we're going to do? Is there like a certain moment that maybe sticks out?
I would say about game 5 or 6 throughout the year after we lost those 2 to start, and then we won a couple in a row, and we were kind of starting to all find our rhythm. I would say that Belmont game or Louisiana. I don't remember which one came first. I think Belmont came first. I think we beat Belmont, and we played really well. They made that crazy comeback at the end with all those threes, but we played really well, and our defense was on cue. Everybody was playing, and then I think from that point forward, I mean, the rest was, that was the 17-game win streak. That was, the whole all conference. That really was like maybe the point where we all felt like, okay, we're really good, because Samford hadn't beat Belmont ever, maybe, or in like a long time, and
it's been a while.
In the next game, we beat Louisiana, who Samford's never beat. And so I feel like that was kind of maybe the turning point of like, okay, yeah, we're good. And then we had injuries throughout the whole year, the whole deal, and nothing fazed us. We were deep. We all wanted to win. That was the most crazy thing about last year's team is we had so many good players that bought in to maybe take a little bit of less scoring, a little bit less minutes just to win a championship, which is probably why we won it, because all we wanted was that championship at the end of the year and to play in the tournament. And that's what we achieved. And, that's the goal for this next year, is to have the same type of mentality, buy in, and we got 10 really good players again. So it's kind of what we're building.
So not to get us too off the rails, but I was curious, Rylan, the biggest difference you've seen living in Utah versus living in Alabama. I mean,
humidity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's a difference that would slap you in the face.
And then not having snow was really weird. Like when I could just like walk outside in like February and just wear shorts and like a sweatshirt, and like I didn't have to worry about scraping snow off my car window or like turning my car on and letting it warm up before I got in, having to wear gloves. Like that was so humidity, and then not having snow was really weird.
So it didn't snow down there last year?
Not that I saw.
No, it didn't.
So when we were at Samford, we probably had, 3 snows total, guys?
Snowpocalypse.
Freshman year, we got out for like a week.
Dude.
I've heard of snowpocalypse. Like Paulie and Grayson talked about that when they were in like 7th grade.
It was amazing.
Like, they canceled school for like a couple days, and people just left their cars on the street and like
walked
home.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been on trips where we got back from Utah State. We chartered home, and I'd have like a foot of snow on my car. We'd all be in the parking lot at 1:30 in the morning, and like our head coach Odom is like shoveling our trainer's car because she couldn't get out. So it was very different.
That is very different.
So what's your preference? Would you take 95-degree summers with humidity to have the mild winters, or you prefer it out west?
I don't know. It's just because in Utah it's hot too. I mean, it's like 95 to 100 in Utah. It's just dry. Yeah. But it's almost worse because the elevation, so we're closer to the sun. So like when it hits you, it is like raised, like it is hot. So I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I honestly wish I could have the Alabama weather, but Alabama have a little bit of snow, just like for 2 months.
I think the perfect state for you, Rylan.
Just like to have
Carolina.
Just have like a little bit of snow where it's like, okay, I got my winter fixed, but then I can golf in March. So fine.
Go to Virginia.
That's your spot.
There is a state that's really good at basketball. Come up here to the Mid-Atlantic. We have everything.
Mid-Atlantic. We go from the Smokies to the Mid-Atlantic real quick right there.
You can say both.
I think I'm just gonna jump to it, Grant. I'm curious. Rylan, so you hit all those food spots on your visit.
Yeah.
Where have been some of the go-tos once you landed in Birmingham and settled in?
So my favorite restaurant is Bright Star.
Never heard that. Bright Star.
What's
Here we
that?
go.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's in Bessemer. It's like the oldest restaurant in Alabama.
What?
I
don't know if I would eat there. Oldest restaurant in Alabama?
Nah, it's great. It's phenomenal.
Sam.
Sketchy.
Oh man.
And
Sketchy.
then
What
it's,
kind of
it's
food
phenomenal.
Did
It's so
Jermaine introduce you to this place?
Oh,
No.
that's-
One of the boosters actually told my dad and I to go out there after we played golf, and he said, you should go to Bright Star. He knows the owner. And then the next week, the owner's kid was on my team at camp. And so, but yeah, no, that's my favorite restaurant.
Interesting.
That's my favorite restaurant for sure, but it's a little pricey. Let's see. Around here,
Bright Star. We got to hit that up, boys.
Yeah.
Bright Star is good.
Maybe get the plug in for the podcast.
Bright Star is good.
State of the Bulldogs, sponsored by.
I might have to edit
Bright
out the
Star.
part where I said I would never eat there, but yeah.
One person views
Rylan, have you ever been to Mr. P's?
represent the views of the company.
To where?
Mr. P's?
Dude, now that's the place you got to go. That's the
Where's
place.
that?
You gotta go to Mr. P's, dude.
Where is that?
It's in Hoover.
Yeah.
What's that ridge, Grant? You're
It's
the
over.
local.
It's technically called Bluff Park, but you can go right off Lakeshore and take a right on Oxmoor, and then you can take another left, and then you go up the hill off of West Oxmoor, and you can find your way up to Mr.
Great
P's. It's kind of hidden,
sandwiches.
but hidden up there. Yeah.
What kind of food is it?
Sandwiches. I mean, it's also
Yeah,
like
sandwiches.
It's like
they also, you can buy like steak and stuff. It's a convenience
Yeah, it's
store.
also like
it's
a
a
meat,
deli.
yeah,
It's everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go then.
It's
Yeah.
sweet.
I'm gonna have to go.
I think they even have
Like
a
maybe 10
Samford
minutes from
helmet.
campus.
I'm gonna have to go there
Probably
next weekend.
All right, so where else were you saying?
Like near Homewood, I would say Sam's Deli. You ever heard of that place?
Yep.
I like to go there. He's got a good grilled chicken sandwich. Let's see. Like Soho Social is good. We get like a little discount there, so I go there a lot. Wings Plus 3 is good wings.
Yeah, we love
That
Wings
was always our
Plus.
go-to.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to Waffle House is a staple for the basketball team on late nights.
I love to hear that. That's
You
the
don't go
last
to-
bastion of civilization
Red
in this
Pearl?
country.
Yeah, purple onion.
I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan of the purple onion, but
It's okay.
Hot
Yeah,
take.
it's okay. It's okay. It's
I've
not
gone
that
a couple
great.
times. I've gone a couple times.
Yeah.
It's solid. Like, but that would not be my first choice.
Sure.
John Marco's in Homewood, the Italian restaurant. You guys been there?
It's good.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Very
good. Odie's is a staple, obviously, the new one in Homewood.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Jack Brown's obviously good.
Oh yeah. Salem's
You say what?
Salem's Diner.
I've never actually been there. I've heard it's good. Though.
Dude, you got to go.
You gotta
Great
go.
Philly, great breakfast, and fantastic banana pudding.
Really? I've
Well,
heard
at least
breakfast is
they also
really
love
good.
the
7 years ago.
So they also love the dogs. They support the dogs.
Yeah, I need to go there actually. I've been told that a couple times. I just have never I don't know, I've just never gone there. I don't think about it.
Grant, who was the SEC commissioner before Greg Sankey?
Mike Slive. Yeah, he would eat
Mike
there
Slive.
like once
That
a
was
week.
his go-to.
Really?
He had a designated. I think it's still there. It's like a plaque where his table used to be where he would sit, like the Mike Slive table, or whatever. He would go every week. Yeah.
Wow.
I would
Yeah,
try
I'm
to
gonna
sit
go
by
there.
it.
I'm gonna have to go
I think
there.
Tony David for Samford baseball head coach. I think he goes there a lot too. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I actually heard it from him.
That's fun.
He told me to go there one time when I was
Sweet.
when
That's
I was like in
awesome.
the offices one time.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
All right, give
one
us
more thing.
out of 5 stars the calf. And be
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The new renovated calf is good. I will say I eat at the
I
calf.
don't believe it. I
eat
don't
at the calf
believe
a
you.
lot.
I
I promise you, they redid it
Okay.
and they put way more money into it. I heard, and it's actually, I'd say, 4 out of the 6 or 7 nights of dinner, there's really good food.
That's not a
impressive.
bad rate. That's not a bad.
And
That's
like,
a good ratio, yeah.
And every day, there's like, you can always count on like the pasta bar of like, okay, you could just go get like one of their pastas that's like it's not like amazing, but it's also like, okay, it's kind of healthy. You can get what you want in it. You know what it is. But the grill's usually good.
That's crazy.
You know what it is. That's the bar we all need to set right there. That's the cap. You know what it is.
That should be their saying. It's like their slogan. It's like the cap. You know what it is.
The guys that were there, like Bucky's first year, like Grayson and AJ and them, they said that it's night and day different compared to when they were there.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll take your word for it. We're not going to eat there, but we'll take your word for it.
You always got the Chick-fil-A and Moe's in the bottom if it's really bad.
Yeah.
So we didn't have
We just had Chick-fil-A.
Really?
We didn't just have Chick-fil-A. We had
that grill or
it was like
whatever.
a grill.
And we had like two other places.
How about the place Freshens in what's that place
Freshens
in
is good.
GHS or whatever that place is
That's
called?
a throwback.
Yeah,
That place
building,
is good. You should.
Yeah, that's
sometimes I drive over there. Just I'm like, okay, I kind of
Dude.
feeling this. So I'll drive to go get it.
It is good. It's very good. Yeah.
I thought Freshens was a Samford brand. I didn't know it was like an actual place.
I would have thought the same thing until just now.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Low key on campus though, Einstein Bagels in the library.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just go get like a turkey, sausage, egg and cheese bagel. Legit.
So good.
All right, Sam, I have a proposal though. Can we, even though it's kind of sad because we lost, like, can we watch like the last 2 minutes or so of the Kansas?
No.
Why not?
I was going to bring up the crowd chanting and everything. We can talk about that. We don't need to talk about the game.
Like, can we take out the whole like part where the refs screwed us over and then?
Look,
What was that like, Ryan? Like, was that
one
of the coolest moments of your career?
Probably the coolest moment of my sports life.
Yeah.
Like,
how many friends and family did you have in stands?
that was a whole story during that whole week. It was like people like obviously Selection Sunday we had called there, so I got a million calls and texts right away, and then a couple days later it's like the friends that are like, okay, like, can you get us tickets? I didn't know how many tickets I was gonna have. The family members, my dad's, the whole deal. Like, I had 15 people that like I needed to make sure that were there, right? And so I didn't know, like, I only got 4 tickets for myself, so I was like, so we got to Salt Lake and. I ended up getting 40 something tickets from everybody that was in our party.
Whoa.
And a bunch of the coaches really didn't have any family that went there, and they got 4 too. We have some foreign guys didn't have family, some parent, so it just ended up where I got 41 maybe, 41 or 42. So I filled all 42 of those, like, within 5 minutes, like former coaches, friends, family, I'd say the closest people to me, even though there's plenty of people that are close to me that didn't get tickets. And then that's not even counting like the people that bought tickets, the people that already had tickets. I think my dad and I tried to like see like who everybody who texted us who was there and all that. There was like 115 people.
Holy moly.
Wow.
That were like, I wouldn't say they were there for me, but like they were in our area of like close friends, family, friends, coaches, just like the whole deal where it was like, so it was pretty crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. That week is pretty, that week from Selection Sunday to whatever, Thursday night at freaking midnight, whenever we played.
Yeah, midnight, basically.
Yeah, I couldn't have asked. Like, literally, like what you like. It's like a storybook. Like, it's like not even like if I tell that to people in like 25 years from now, they're gonna be like, no way, like that didn't happen. Like, it was so crazy and surreal. It was just like I got to play. Like, I'd played a high school game in that building. I'd played another college game in that building. And I got to play in the NCAA tournament in that building where I'd been to probably 8 games to watch the NCAA tournament in that building. Like, and then just.
That's the crazy part. You never leave Utah, right?
Never.
You grow up by that stadium, and then boom, you go all the way to freaking Alabama just to end up back
to go back.
Just to play one final game in the NCAA tournament, like in Salt Lake, where it was like, yeah, I mean, I chose to go all the way to Birmingham. Chose, you could like a smaller school and a smaller conference, so a conference where you got to win 3 games in 3 days, all to get the chance to go play. Not just anybody. We played Kansas, Kansas in Salt Lake City, in my hometown, in front of, a couple hundred people that I knew, that I was friends with, like close friends. And then the game that we had, I mean, like obviously if we won, like, yeah, I mean, that would have been,
the comeback was epic enough.
Yeah, I mean, to say that we're down 21 and come back, we have a chance to take the lead. I missed that stupid layup with like 5 minutes left.
Unbelievable. Let's talk about that.
Stupid. Just slipped out of my hand. Stupid NCAA new ball. And then to lose the way that we lost, it was just like so heartbreaking. Like, and like, I mean, they're just crazy. Like that call. I mean, the call is a call. I totally get why the ref called it. It looked bad from his angle. Like, I probably would have called it too at that.
It's getting called every time. It's college.
But the thing that was so crazy to me is like right after that, like AJ was so like mad and so furious, and you like right there, you're like, I didn't foul him. I didn't even touch him. I promise I didn't touch him. I promise I didn't foul him. And usually, like, I'm the guy that's like, like, all right, good, it's all good. Next play, like, the calm, when they, usually, I mean, a lot of the time they foul him too. Like, and they're like, no, I didn't foul him.
Sure.
And AJ was so adamant that he didn't foul him. I'm like, man, look where he fell. Like, it was like, yeah, you definitely had to foul him. And then
we thought he was going to get like a technical foul thrown out of the game, and then they showed the replay, and we're like, oh, we got the biggest flopper of all time.
And then we're walking out of the. I mean, the game is over, and we're walking off the tunnel, and the security guards right there, are like showing us pictures, showing us videos, saying, man, he didn't foul him, and then like I see the video, and I'm like,
yeah,
man, he actually was all ball, like he got it so clean. Our one guy that could made that play, and it's a play that Coach Bucky talks about all the time of like, man, hey, one of us is going to make some, we're going to have, this is how the plays we have to make, a chase down block, the way we play, we got to make those plays, and AJ made the play, and just, bad luck, whatever. It's not like, it was unlucky, but yeah, it was just crazy, and the comeback was unbelievable. I mean, Riley Allen's patch, kept us in the game, 14 points, 4 for 4 from 3.
Yeah,
like he doesn't get as much credit as he should. Without him, we're not even close in that game.
Yeah.
Even Bill Self after the game was like, he hasn't made 4 threes all year in one game. He made 4 in one game today. What is going on?
That is so sick.
Well, yeah, the comeback. I mean, when we made that run, and like the whole place was chanting, "Let's go Bulldogs," and like I don't know, I got probably 20 people send me videos of like them video in the stadium, "Let's go Bulldogs." Like I got like all the views. Like,
well, we've got the clip right here, Rylan.
Hey,
I'll play it for you.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
If that dang Fergie kid didn't go off so hard at the very beginning, that we could have won that game.
And like I got like diehard Jazz fans that go to like every Jazz game, and they're like, the Delta Center hasn't been that loud in 2 or 3 years. Like, I mean, that was the loudest it's been since the Donovan Mitchell playoffs. Yeah, like that's the most fun basketball game I've ever been a part of. Then I got people telling me, yeah, we left it when you guys were getting 20, and the next thing you know, we're at the sports bar down the road, and they're cheering, "Let's go Bulldogs," because we saw your comeback, and we're in there with the whole crowd just going crazy, the whole bar. Like, just those stories just make it like even more unbelievable. Like, I stayed in Utah after the game for like a week and a half, and I'd just be walking down the street, and like some random person, "Hey, you're Rylan, right?" Like, yeah. He's like, "Man, we were cheering for you guys. That was the coolest thing ever." Like, dang. Man, that was so much fun to watch you guys. You guys are awesome. Like, we love the way you play. You guys, how hard you play. Like, the whole deal happened multiple times from, cool people. And, yeah, I mean, it was just, like, I can't even describe, like, what it felt like when they called Salt Lake City, first of all, and then actually get there and play. And then the game that we had, and, like, the comeback and the whole deal. I mean, right there to win it. Like, yeah, people know about Samford now because of that one game. Like, people in Utah know about Samford. Like, it's cool, like, to know that our team, not just saying me and Utah put like Samford on the map, but our team in general put Samford on the map throughout the whole year, where it's cool. Like, people will, maybe actually know who Samford is. Like,
we could use a little Utah pipeline. I mean, look, if we get more Rylans, let's just build a road.
We got the quarterback. Yeah,
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mac Howard. Yes.
Yeah. But no, I like just talking about it, Rylan. Like, I've got goosebumps, right, Grant?
Yeah.
But seriously, like watching it, just like I will go back and rewatch the last 2 minutes and 38 seconds of that game, and like it takes me right back to my seat.
That Jaden Campbell 3
moment. Like, I can feel the moment, man.
The Jaden Campbell 3.
So sick.
Maybe the greatest baseline out of bounds. It's like, oh, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like, how often do y'all
practice that play?
The funny thing is we called it Aggie because we ran it at Utah State, and Bucky saw us run it when he was watching my film.
That was good. Okay, there we go.
And yeah, I mean, we put that play in the mid, probably towards the later half of the year. We probably ran it. I think we put it in versus Western Carolina at home, maybe, and we got it. And we didn't really run it a ton, and I mean, it was just a beautifully drawn play, and short prep time, they probably can't prepare for all of them, and so they probably had no idea it was coming, and I mean, it was beautiful. And Jay, the best shooter in the country, probably knocked it in.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. But that's like one of the first questions when I see Bucky again, like, where did that come from? Where, like, you just talked about how that actually came about, and
when we called it Aggie,
using in that instance, calling it Aggie 2, using it right there in the biggest moment of the season,
and we ran it to perfection. I mean, we probably never ran it that good in practice.
Like, watching it, you can't even like comprehend what's going on. You've got to go back and rewatch the video like 3 times to really figure out who's doing what. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I thought it was total chaos. I was like, we're so screwed.
Yeah.
And then Campbell comes out
somehow
of
it's like
nowhere.
wide open.
People like Brendan Haywood, who's doing the color in the game, they showed the replay. It's like, this is awesome. Like, this, like, for Bucky to call it in this moment, like we just said, was pretty sick.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like, I mean, it was just like he just called it on the fly, like it was just a normal, like a normal underneath out of bounds. And this what makes and it worked perfect.
Last thing for me for this year coming up, what's one thing like in your game that you maybe want to improve on for this year? Maybe as a team, what's one thing early in the summer that you're looking forward to improving and building on?
I mean, right now for the team, it's just kind of getting to know each other, how each other plays, and for the new guys to really understand how we play and how hard you have to play, like on a given, like on every possession. And Bucky teaches the game of basketball in 4 different phases. Full court offense, full court defense, half court defense, and half court offense. And a lot of places only teach it in 3. So when we add a 4th, and when our 4th is so important to what we do, and not a lot of people do that, it makes it hard to learn. You got to practice it a lot. And so, that's just kind of probably the biggest thing is just, getting everybody to understand, how to rotate, how hard we have to play, get in the best shape, and then to adjust on how we play on offense and who likes to cut, who the plays of, somebody's driving. Does this person usually fill or slide or cut? Just kind of get to feel the hang and like people got to learn how to play with me and know that's like when I get in there, I'm looking to pass all the time. And so you got to learn to cut when I'm playing so it's, we're just trying to all fill each other out and build chemistry and have fun. And so that's kind of for the team. And then individually, probably just trying to become an even better shooter. Just working, try to get my percentages up. Maybe make a couple more off the ball screen. I don't know. Just kind of try to, fine tune, all my game. Always constantly working on everything that I do, finishing, ball handling. Just trying to make another step, another jump, and just continue to get better. And maybe the thing that probably have to do more is be more vocal leader this year because we don't have as many guys returning, and I'm not the most vocal human being out there like on the basketball court. So maybe that's the step that I'm gonna have to do and just help all the new guys understand and help them fit in and help them be the best to the best of their abilities, because then we can be the best.
Awesome. Well, I know we can't wait until November 3rd or 4th, whenever that first Monday is. So opening night.
Let's hope we get our schedule figured soon so we can figure out who we're playing.
Let's go back to Purdue. You want to go back to Purdue?
I don't know.
Maybe
Edie's not.
No.
Edie's
No,
not
he's
there.
not there. He's not there. No, he's not there.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
Dallas
couldn't
doing the
have
job.
played any worse. So might as well go back.
Yeah, even Dallas. I completely forgot about Dallas doing the tip to start the year.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I can't believe I forgot that.
Yeah.
Dang.
I did too.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
4 inches every day. Sam, is there anything else that I'm missing here? This was awesome, Rylan. Thanks for the time.
I had one last question. What was it? Oh yeah. I always like to ask what's after Samford?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a plan. I mean, potentially play basketball, seeing what opportunities are out there. Maybe become a coach. It's kind of in my, bloodline. My dad, college coach.
Just a little bit.
Now, do I want to do that in this NIL craziness era? Yeah. I'm not sure. And then, I got my MBA. I'd love to potentially be some part of like an NBA front office. Know a couple people like in that world.
Don't forget our names, man.
I don't know. I can never. And then, who knows? Just see what kind of opportunities are out there. I'm really open. I mean, I really don't have a plan. I'm just, see what happens, see where it takes me. So that's kind of this, get another whatever degree I'm going to get here.
Yeah.
And
you're just stacking papers.
Yeah, or degrees.
Stacking papers.
That or you start a podcast. You start a podcast by yourself, and then 4 years you go coach the Lakers. How's that sound?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's see what JJ can do. Let's see what happens.
Not much. I'll tell you. Just clue you in now.
I agree.
He does not.
Dude can play. Definitely can't coach.
He does not give a what about your opinions, as he told us what it was.
Exactly. He don't care.
Yeah, he's unprofessional. We're getting this.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to take Sam on tangent, but yeah. Thanks for Rylan. This was awesome. Appreciate the time.
No, you guys are awesome. Thanks for everything you guys do. I always listen to you guys throughout the year. I think it's fun. So
nice.
Especially when I'm in like study breaks and I like to see like, oh, they just put it out on Twitter. Oh, let's go see what these guys are talking about. So I just want you guys to know, like, I appreciate everything you guys do, and we all do, and it's cool that you guys take the time and have fun and discuss. And it's cool. Like, you guys help put Samford out there too. So I appreciate
your part.
We have had a great sports program since the podcast started. So
that's right.
I think all the credit goes to you guys.
Yeah,
we'll take it. We'll take it.
I mean, Martin hasn't hired anybody good or anything. It's all you guys credit.
I did go to 17-year games last year, and you won every one of them. So I mean, there's really nothing there. Yeah.
And you were part of that win streak just as much as I was.
I mean,
I tell myself that every day. No.
I mean, were you at every home game? You probably had close to every home game, were you?
Missed Black Friday, and then
shopping.
And then I was out of town for the Chattanooga game, that home of SoCon opener. But every other game, yeah.
Yeah. So we went. What did we win on the road? What did we win at home? Like 19 games, I think.
Yeah, 19. Yeah.
Best game of the year though was at UTC. I mean, that was awesome.
Were you there?
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah, that was fun. Me and Bucky were actually just watching that the other day, talking about our defense.
Yeah.
They were so pissed. They were so pissed.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they're going to be good this year. Dang.
Yeah.
They lose. I mean, everybody lost. Everybody lost some stuff, but they got some. They got two obviously good players come back. But yeah, those were fun games. I think my favorite game though was probably the Furman game at home.
Yeah.
I think that was probably. I mean, the Kansas one, but then Furman at home.
Sure.
Like that was, and like. Sorry, I know we're ending, but I'll go on this. Like these guys, like I didn't know like the Furman, like it was hard for them to beat Furman, like, and so it was cool to finally be a part of like the game that like we beat them, and like I didn't know who Furman was either a year ago at the time, and when we lost at their place, everybody was so mad, like we lost the win streak, didn't win at Furman, they beat us again, the talk, and so it was super cool just being a part of the win. And then the way we won it with
the way it happened,
winner, Yeah, in his 1,000th
Epic.
point. The whole deal was just
Yeah.
like so epic that was just like so cool.
Yeah, and didn't you cut your head open like too? You had, like bleeding over
Yeah.
like late in the
I
game
was, like,
too.
got a couple stitches in my head.
Yeah.
I still got the scar.
Yeah, I remember you got hurt. Like, is Rylan okay? Then you got up and the crowd's like, sorry face with a little blood. Like, ooh, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's like, look, if Rylan's playing basketball and there's blood, like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
Yeah, like we're okay, right?
we're good. We're good.
We're gonna be fine. Right? Everything's gonna be okay.
You got the bloody nose in the Kansas game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sucked. I don't even know
Yeah.
how that happened.
This is such a random question. I know we're wrapping this up, but like, why did they take the names off the jerseys?
I don't know.
Oh,
Did anyone know about that? Like,
We speculated about that.
yeah.
When did they have the name on the jerseys?
Oh, I mean, for like the longest time.
Really?
Like literally just last year they took them off.
I don't know. Wasn't here.
It
Yeah,
worked.
I mean,
That's all we're saying.
It worked, but
I mean, keep them off.
We are
I
getting
guess.
new jerseys this year, so I don't know.
Okay.
If, now I don't
That's
know.
good
If
intel.
I don't know if the name is gonna be on there.
Yeah.
I just
we
need
got
the
a
Jordan.
gray- I think we got a gray jersey this year.
Oh, sweet.
Ooh, I like it. I like
That's
it.
new.
I mean, we had pretty good looking uniforms this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're solid.
They're stepping up
Yeah.
the game in the Nike non-power school division in
Yeah.
Oregon.
The Nike Oregon.
Like whatever you call it. Yeah. Thank you, Rylan. This
Yeah,
was,
Rylan, I
a lot of
appreciate
fun.
it.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yep. See you.
See you guys.
Thanks, Rylan.